Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan Carlos Monsalve. Today is November 2nd, 2023. The time of the recording is 7:22 p.m. Eastern Time in the US. We are going to play a new show of Baccarat today. As you can see, I have in front of me the spreadsheet that I use to keep the records. You already know P for player equals 1 for blue, B equals -1 is banker or red, T equals 0 or yellow, and I will be entering the information vertically here, player, banker, and the winner is going to show here, or if it's a tie, it's going to say tie, total number of players, total number of bankers, number of ties, and total hands played during the show. Um, you can access all the scorecards of the shows that we have played so far in my website. I post them there, juancarlosmonsalve.com. You can support my channel and my work at buymeacoffee.com Juan Carlos Monsalve. Again, this is a game of Baccarat. Please give it a thumbs up to this video, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so you get notified every time that I upload a new video. Share this video and all videos with your friends and your social media platforms, and observe. You are able to see these, to watch these videos. I recommend for you to do it in a big screen, like in a computer or probably a tablet. The bigger the screen, the better that you will be able to see what is happening on the screen. Uh, when I'm entering information here on the left side of the screen, you will see all the scorecards, how they populate automatically on the right side. I have the scorecards with one, two entries for every three, one, two, three, all the way to 11. That's a total of 10 scorecards. And also, after I play the shoe, on the second set of 10 more scorecards, I will be removing the ties. I personally haven't used ties to come up with my strategies, so I'm gonna test them to see what's better, with ties or without ties. So stay tuned, enjoy the show, and enjoy the game. This is a very nice game. It's a casino table game where you can, the chances to win is like 50-50. It is said that the banker has a small advantage over player. That's why when you go to the casino, you see that every time that you win with the banker, depends on the table and the rules of the table. You have to pay, most of the time you have to pay a 5% if you win with the banker, 5% commission. There are non-commission tables like a Super Six or Dragon Seven. They have different rules, but here I don't take in consideration commission or non-commission. It's just plain player, banker, or tie. We're gonna start the shoe. The first thing that we do every time that we start a shoe, the same as in the casino, we burn one card. In this case, it's seven of diamonds. So I enter the information here, seven of diamonds. I haven't used this information. I know there are some people that use the first card to determine the type of strategy that they use. That's why I collect the information, and eventually one day I may be able to use that as well. I'm gonna burn seven cards, three, four, five, six, and seven. Seven of diamonds, seven cards, and for a total of eight cards. Um, the first hand, first card for player, banker, player, banker. I have a player six and a stance, banker seven and a stance. So the first hand is a banker hand, 6-7. Okay, next hand, first card for player, banker, player, Banker, I have a natural knight banker. Player 3, that's another banker, two bankers in a row. And we see at top of the screen that it says player 0, bankers 2, 0 ties. I'm going to do a split here of my spreadsheet so we can keep the titles. Oh, I forgot. I have the YouTube channel is at Juan Carlos Monsalve 1652, and also I have a Facebook group, Baccarat Research, where I post these videos and some additional information, and we can have discussions there as well. So we go for hand number three. First card for player, banker, player, banker. I have one player, banker two. The third card for player is a 5, so 1 plus 5, 6 player. Banker has 2, gets a third card, and the third card is a 2 for a total of 4. So 6, 6, 4, and that was a player hand. I'm still trying to get better picking up the cards with just one hand. I'm trying to avoid using my arm to go across the camera. I told you that will be improving. So that's what the thing that I see while I'm playing my videos. So we have two player, and two banker. Both of them get a third card. The third card for banker is a 7 for a total of 9, and banker has a 2, and the third card is a 0, so it remains at 0. So excuse me, at 2. So 9 2. Next hand, first card for player, banker, player, banker. I have a six player and six banker, six player and a stand, six banker and a stand. So it's a 6 6. The first tie of the shoe, we have two players, two bankers, and the first tie for a total of 5 hands. Next hand, first card for player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural 8 player, and banker has 5, so 8 5. That is a player's hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Have a 0 player, 0 banker. The third card for player is another 0, and the third card for banker is an 8. So 0 player, 8 banker. We got another. Again, we are 3 players, 3 bankers. They are tie again, one tie. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. The 3 player and is 3 player and gets a third card, and the 0 banker gets a third card. The third card for player is a 0, so it remains at 3, and the third card for banker is a 6. So 3 6. We have two bankers in a row for a total of 4 bankers. 3 players so far, one tie. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a player 7 and it stands. Banker has a 0, gets a third card, and the third card is a 0. So 7 and 0. That was a player hand. Again, we are 4 4. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 6 player and it stands. And banker has a 2 and gets a third card, and the third card is a 0, so 6 0. That was a player hand. If you look at the right side, the scorecards are getting populated. You can see how they populate. You can try to guess what's or use your strategies to see how these your own strategies apply to these to the issue. Um, again. Okay, well, let's go for the next one. First card player, banker, player, banker. I have a zero player for banker. Player gets a third card, and the third card is a five. And we have four banker, and for four banker, if we get a five, we get a third card. If we get anything from two to seven, so the third card for banker is a three. So it's gonna be four plus three, seven. So five player, seven banker. That was the banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a banker seven and a stance. Player has two and gets a third card, and the third card is a zero. So player is two and banker is seven. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural nine banker, and player has three. Natural nine is the highest score that they can get. If they get it with two cards, that's a natural. Natural nine, natural eight is the second best. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a three player, two banker. We get it third card for both of them. Three player plus four is a total of seven player, and banker gets a third card, gets a nine plus two equals one. Seven player, one banker, and that was the player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural eight banker and three player. Natural eight, that's the second best. Um, Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a three player and one banker. We get a third card for both of them. The third card for player is a zero, so it remains at three, and the third card for banker is a zero, so it remains at one. So three player, one banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have five player, one banker. Both of them get a third card. The third card for player is one for a total of six, and the third card for banker is a four for a total of five. So this one was the player hand, six, five, and we can see the score is eight players, eight bankers, one tie. Next hand, we have player, total of four, and banker two. Both of them get a third card. The third card for player is a zero, so it remains at four. And the third card for banker is a one for a total of three. Four, three, that was another player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a five player, two banker. Both of them get a third card. The third card for player is four for a total of nine, and banker third card is a zero, so it remains at two. Nine, two, that was a player hand. We have four players in a row. The next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a two player and one banker. The third card for player is a five for a total of seven, and the third card, since we have only have one banker, we get a third card, and the third card is a 0, so it remains at 1. 7-1, that was another player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 2 player for banker. I need a third card for player, and it's a 0 because we have 4 banker and we get a player third card 0. We don't get any more cards for banker, so 2, 4, that was a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a player 7 and banker in natural 8. So 7 player stands, but because we also have a natural 8, that's one more reason why we don't get any more cards. 7, 8, that was a banking hand. Next hand, um, second card for player, second card for banker. We have 0 player, 5 banker. The third card for player is a 9, and we have 5 banker, and we don't get any more cards. So it is 9 player, 5 banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 3 player and 7 banker. Banker stands with 7, and player gets a third card, and the third card is a 3. So 3 plus 7 is equal to 0 player. Banker 7, and no more cards for banker. Next hand, first card for player, banker, player, and banker. I have a natural 8 player and 7 banker. That's 8, natural 8. That's the best, second best that we can get in the game of Baccarat. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 0 player and banker has a 3. Player gets a third card and it's a 5. So a total of 5, 0 plus 5, 5, and banker has a 3 and he gets a third card, and the third card is a 0, so it remains at 3. 5, 3, that was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a natural 9 banker and 0 player. Natural 9, the highest possible in this game. First card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 2 player and 0 banker. I get a third card for both of them. 2 plus 9 equals 1. And the banker, the third card is a 0, so it remains at 0. So 1, 0. So that was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 6 player and it stands. Banker has a 2 and gets a third card, and the third card is a 5 for a total of 7. So player 6 and banker 7, 6, 7. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Player has a 0, banker has a 3. Player gets a third card, and the third card is a 2. So player 2 and banker gets a third card, and the third card is a 9 for a total of 2. So this is another tie hand. 2, 2. This is the second tie of the shoe. We have 15 players, 13 bankers, and 2 ties for a total of 30 hands. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a five player and three banker, and five player gets a third card, and the third card is a zero, so it remains at five. And we have three banker. We get a third card for banker, and the third card is a four. So three plus four equals seven. That was a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Have a zero player and six banker. The third card for player is a one. So it is one player and banker. Banker has six, and we don't get any more cards for bankers. We got the third card for player was a one. So one, six. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have four player and four banker. Player gets a third card, and the third card is a zero. So it remains at four. Banker has a four. We don't get any more cards for banker, so it's another tie. 4-4 for the third tie of this shoe. 15 players, 15 bankers, and 3 ties for a total of hand 33. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 8 player, and banker has 5. No more cards since we got a natural 8. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Banker has 7 in his stance, player has a 4 and gets a third card. The third card is a 5 for a total of 9. 9 players, 7 banker. That was another player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have 5 player, 4 banker. Player gets a third card, the third card is a 0. And so it remains at 5 player and no more cards for banker since we got a 0 player third card. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural 8 banker and 3 player. No more cards available since we got a natural. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. And now we have a natural 9 banker and 0 player. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 9 player, 0 banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have 2 player and banker has 1. Both of them get a third card. Player goes to 7 and banker third card is a 0, so it remains at 1. 7-1. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have 2 player, 4 banker. Player gets a third card and it gets a 0, so it remains at 2. Because the player third card was a 0, we don't get any more cards for banker, so it stays at 4. 2-4, that was a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 6 players in his hands. Banker has 4 and gets a third card. The third card is a 5 for a total of 9. So 6 player and 9 banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural 9 player and 3 banker. No more cards are there. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 3 player and 0 banker. We get a third card for both of them. Player gets a 0, so it remains at 3, and banker third card is a 6 for a total of 6. 3, 6. That was the banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a 2 player and 0 banker. Both of them get a third card. We have a 2 player plus 9 equals 1 bank player, and the third card for banker is a 0, so it remains at 0. So it was 1 0. That was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Player has a 1, and banker has a 5. The third card for player is a 0, so it remains at 1. And because we have a 0 player third card, we don't get any more cards for banker, so it remains at 5. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural 8 player, but we had a natural 9 banker. Natural 9 is better than natural 8. So this one was a banker hand, 8, 9. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have player 1, banker 0. We get a third card for both of them. Player has a 0 third card, so it remains at 1, and banker third card is a 0, so it remains at 0. 1 0. That was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Player has 1, banker has 2. Both of them get a third card. 1 plus 5, 6, 6 player. Banker third card is a 6 for a total of 8. So 6, 8. That was a banker hand. And again, if we look at the totals, 23 players, 23 bankers, 3 ties for a total of 49 hands. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural 9 player, and banker has a natural 8. Natural 9 is better than natural 8, so that was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have player 7 on his stand, so banker 1 gets a third card. The third card is a 0, so it remains at 1. And player has 7. 7, 1. That was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 3 players, 6 banker. Player gets a third card. The third card is a 6 for a total of 9. And banker has a 6 because we have a 6 player third card. Banker gets a third card as well. So the third card is a 3. So 6 plus 3, 9. So this is 9, 9. 9 plus 4, 13 plus 6, 19. That means 9. And 10 plus 9, 9. So this is another time. 9, 9. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 0 player, 3 banker. Player gets a third card. The third card is a 4. And Okay, we are playing hand number 53. We have four player and two banker. So 4-2. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a natural 8 player and banker has a 3. So A3, and that was a natural 8. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have player 7 and stands. Banker has 6 and stands, so 7 6. That was another player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker, and we have a natural 8 player and 0 banker. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Have a 5 player and 5 player and 5 banker. We need a third card for player, and the third card is a 10, so that remains at 5. And we have a 5 banker because we have a 0 third card player. We don't get any more cards, so he remains at 5. So it's another tie, 5-5. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 5 player, 5 banker. We get a third card for player, and it's another 0. So the 5 remains at 5. No more cards for the banker 5. So it's another 5-5. Two ties in a row, 5-5, both of them. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural 9 banker, 5 player. So it's a banker hand, 5-9. We have 29 players, 24 bankers, 6 dice. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have 7 player and stands. Banker has a 4 and gets a third card, and the third card is a 3. So this 4 goes to 7. Another tie, 7 player and 7 banker. So this is a tie number 7 of issue of 60 hands. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 2 player and 4 banker. The third card for player is a 7, so player goes to 9. And banker, because we have a banker 4 and we get a 7, we get a third card for banker if we get anything from 2 to 7. So the third card is a 5. 5 plus 4 equals 9. So this is another tie, 9-9. So we got two ties in a row. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have banker 7 and stands, and player has a 6 and stands, so 6-7. That was a banker hand. So 6-7. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a player 5, banker 3. We get a third card for player, and the third card is an 8. So the player goes down to 3. So player 3, and because we have an 8 on this banker 3, we don't get any more cards. So banker remains at 3, and this is another tie, 3-3. Um, kind of weird this game. So many ties, so many weird cards that are coming out to make that tie. but that's the part of the game, right? Next hand, first card. Excuse me. We have a six player and natural eight banker, and six player. So this is another banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural nine player and natural eight banker. Natural eight is the highest. Um, Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have four player and three banker. Player gets the third card, and the third card is another four. And the player has a three, and he gets another the third card. And the third card for player is a two for a total of five. So banker is excuse me, player is four plus four eight, and banker five. So eight five. That was a player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a player two and banker zero. We get a third card for both of them. Player goes to nines, two plus seven nines, and banker gets a third card, and the third card is a five. So nine five. That was another player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural nine player, natural eight banker, another pair of another two naturals. Nine is the highest. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. We have a natural eight player and four banker. That was another player hand. We have 34 players, 26 bankers, 9 ties. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a natural 9 player, and banker has a 1. We have 6 players in a row. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 2 player and 5 banker. The third card for player is a 0, so it remains a 2, and banker has a 5, and no more card for banker. So 2, 5. That was a banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. Now we have a natural 9 banker. Player has a 2, 2, 9 banker hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 7 player in stance, and banker has a 4. And he gets a third card. The third card is an 8. So we reduce that 4 to 2. 7, 2 player hand. Next hand, first card player, banker, player, banker. I have a 4 banker, 6 player. Player gets a third card. The third card is a 4. So for a total of 8. And player banker has a 6, and no more card for banker. Next hand, first card player. I have the cut card, so we will play this hand plus one more. First card banker, second card player, banker. Now we have a natural 8 banker, and player has a 5. So that was a banker hand with a natural 8. And we are going to play the last hand of the shoe. First card player, banker, player, banker, have a zero player, one banker. The third card for a player is a zero for a total of zero. And banker, the third card is an eight for a total of nine. So zero, nine, that was the banker hand. That was the last hand of the shoe. We ended with two bankers. And the total score is 37 players, 30 bankers, 9 ties for a total of 76 hands. What we do when we finish, let me remove the remainder of the deck here, and we place uh, the remainder here on the discard tray. We go over the different scorecards to see if we identify some patterns. I see here three players, five players here, three players, four players, three bankers here. That was 1 through 11, and 1 through 10. I see here five bankers, five more bankers, five players here, four players here, three bankers. Um, the 1 through 9, I see here three players, four players, three players, three players, three bankers here, three bankers here, three bankers here, two bankers here, with one player in between. 1 through 8, I see here three players, four players, three more players, three players, four bankers, three players. That's 1 through 8. 1 through 7, I see five bankers in a row, three players in a row, three players in a row, three players in a row here. That's all I see. Well, five bankers here. 1 through 6, I see three bankers, three bankers, three players, three players, three players here, three players here. And 1 through 6, that was 1 through 6. And 1 through 5, I see three bankers, six bankers here, three players, four players, five players, three players. Every 4, I see here three bankers, four players, three players, three bankers, three players, three players. Every 3, I see five players, three players here, three bankers, four players, one player here. To separate these two bankers, four players, three players, and three players here. And every 2, I see here three players, three players, three players. Here's the total in 2, 4, 6, 8. In 8 hands here, five players were there. Uh, three players, three more players here. Three bankers here, three more bankers here. Four players. So those are the numbers: 37 players, 30 bankers, 9 ties. I'm gonna remove the split here, and I'm gonna copy this information. I'm gonna bring the results of this shoe. I'm gonna copy, because these are formulas. I'm gonna copy only the values, but I'm gonna place them on the side where I need them. I say the paste special values. So I don't bring the formulas, just the information that is in there. So because I had how many ties? Nine ties. So I need to remove nine ties from here. So I move the cells up. So I start moving all the data. Just skip one space and move up. because we occupy that space of where the tie is, or the zero. We remove that tie, move the cells up, so we create a new set uh, of scorecards without those ties and see how they will look. We move the cells up, delete, shift cells up, one more here, delete, cell them, move the cells up, and that's all the information without the ties. And then now that I clean the ties out of that information, what we do, we move it to the winner column. So here we populate the scorecards without the ties, and we see how they look. Okay, every two, I see here four players, three bankers here, three bankers, four players, three players, three more players here, three more players here. Now every three, I see three players here, four players there, four bankers, four more bankers, five players there. That's every three. One, two, three. Every four, I see four players here, four bankers, four more bankers here, three players, five bankers, three players. Here we have five. Every five, we have a nice run here. We have three bankers, but we have here one, three, six, nine players in a row here. Three more players here, four players, four bankers, three players. This is every five. Every six, I see here two, four, five players, three bankers, three players, four bankers, three players, three more players. Every seven, I see three players here, three players, three more players, three more players, three players, three players, three players, three players. That was every seven. I have five bankers here, three bankers here. Every eight, I see four players, three players, three players, three bankers, five bankers here. And look at this row number eight. Of every eight, I see three, six, eight players in a row. Every nine, I see five bankers, four bankers. I see here three, six, seven players in a row. Here, three, six players in a row. Here, five players in a row. Five bankers in a row here. Every 10, three players, three bankers, four players, three bankers, three bankers. Five players, three bankers, three players. Every 11, I see four bankers, four players, three players, three bankers. That's the information without the ties. You decide what you like to do with ties or without ties. I will get all that information from several shoes, and I will compare that to my regular strategies and see which one of the two give better results. Those are the. Let me see just to make sure. It shows here that we have zero ties, so this is working. What I do after I finish the shoe, I print this. I save the information first, and then I print the scorecards in a PDF form, and you can find the scorecards in my website. Don't forget that juancarlosmonsalve.com. You have access there for my scorecards, and this is the way that they look there. Um, and Here is the data of the shoe, and here the different scorecards. You will see different pages with information of every two and every three that requires some more data on the right side. That's why it occupies 10 pages. You can print the pages, or you can just scroll through the pages and use the information. The first part is with ties, and the second part is with no ties. And this is the way that it looks in my website. Exactly the same in the PDF form. Okay, so that's it. This is the end of the video. Please don't forget, you can find all those scorecards in my website, juancarlosmonsalve.com. You can support my channel at buymeacoffee.com / Juan Carlos Monsalve. The name of the game is Baccarat. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, share, and observe. The name of my YouTube channel is Juan Carlos Monsalve 1652. You are the at the beginning, and the name of the Facebook group is Baccarat Research, because that's what we are doing. We are trying to identify if those strategies that you already have, if they work. You can compare that to all the shoes that we have played, and we need to have probably between 100 to 200 shoes that you can compare those strategies to make sure that they work, and to create new ones. You should have more than one strategy every time that you go to the casino. This is all for now. Thank you for watching my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.